before we get started, I want to just say that anything you hear me or any of the guests on this podcast say is to be considered for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before taking financial decisions. And with that, please enjoy the podcast. Okay, here we go. So this is episode 5 of the Trader Dane podcast, and this is the first time I've been joined by a guest. So this is Griffin. Griffin, you have to pronounce your last name for me at some point because it sounds French.
Yeah, it's French. It's Griffin Ouellette. It's
Ouellette.
Ouellette.
Okay, yeah. I do know a little
Ouellette.
bit of French. Do you have French ancestry or something like that?
Maybe way down
Maybe
the line.
way back.
I don't know. all
Welcome to the
all my
show.
family I know is from Michigan.
Awesome. Hey, welcome to the show anyway.
I'm happy to be here. We've been trying to get it going.
Yep. Thanks for being on and taking the time out. So as you know, Griff, the Trader Dane podcast, I'm just starting out with this, and I really want to focus on my Instagram platform, and so I want to focus on upcoming new traders, but traders that are also serious about what they're doing, and really want to turn it into something. So not just not just a hobby, not just YOLOing, but someone who really wants to make something of it. And we've known each other for a couple of months now through Austin Silver's Black Shirt Club, where we both joined, and we're there for. Are you still there actually, or you're not? You're out, right?
Nope, I was there. I left the week after you. Both there for 3 months.
So we're graduated alumni.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. But it was a good time there, and maybe we can also talk about that in a bit. But basically,
Sure.
we've stayed in touch. We have like our own little Discord, and we've been chatting, also keeping each other accountable with our daily report cards and so on. So I'm picking up some of the good habits that we picked up from the Black Shirt. But just rewinding back, and I want to focusing on how you got into trading, what does trading mean to you, and so on. So could you, just to begin with, introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about what got you to where you are now?
Yeah, so obviously, my name's Griffin. I'm 21 years old, and I found trading must have been 2023, and I just graduated high school, so I was going to college, and it was the summer before I went into college, and I always knew deep down, like I always told my parents from the time I was young, I want to own a business, or I want to be my own boss or something of that sort. I told them, I'm not going to college, and they said, well, you're going to go. So I ended up there knowing, not really knowing what I wanted to do, but knowing I wanted to do something on my own. And so I came across, all the gurus with the Lambos, like I feel like many of us did.
Yep.
Right? You see those, and it's intriguing, of course. So I watched tons of tutorials, got into the whole Forex side of things for a few months. I was just watching whatever YouTube, whatever content I could, putting it all together, like 6 strategies, drawing trend lines, whatever I could get together for me to see a setup. I was paper trading for maybe 2 or 3 months, and until I could get the account profitable, slinging paper trades, and then I ended up opening my own account. This is before I ever learned anything of futures, prop firms, anything. I opened an account with $250. Think I was putting on $5 of risk per trade, lost maybe $20 or something, I think, and
it hurt. I bet you it hurt, right?
With this. Oh yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. It hurt more than it should have. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So, and I was like, okay, yeah. I think what I thought in my head was, I need more money to be able to make this happen, right? I need capital to actually, I was a broke college student, so I had not the money I needed to throw up to actually make some real money. So I thought, I'll come back to this whenever I have more money. I'm out of college, whatever. And I went golfing with some buddies. And one of them that I had never met before, in summer 2024, I would say this was a year after, and I had been quit for maybe half a year. One of them was a full-time trader, and he had his own coaching program and all this, and I didn't know much about it, but I was like, oh yeah, I like trading too, and he starts teaching me and 2 of my other buddies, telling us about prop firms and how he takes these payouts and copy trading and whatever, and so we stayed in touch with him a little bit, asking him questions here and there, obviously trying not to like bug him, annoy him or anything, but he put us on the Apex accounts, like back when I think they were a new firm at the time. They were like the hot thing, and so all I knew was buying two evals and slinging them opposite ways on news to try to get them passed. So
nice. The
yep,
stop orders on
that's
either side, and then
yep,
awesome.
just slinging them, and so that's what I would do. No strategy and no really like good form. It was all gambling, right?
Mm.
So all I wanted to do was pass an eval, and from then on out, I thought, okay, all you have to do is hit the profit target, easy payouts, it's easy money, is what the thought was, and so I did that for a couple months. Ended up quitting again because that wasn't working. Obviously, you can't expect
You
that to
can't
lead
do
to
that.
profits. And then the two buddies that I was with at the time, last January, or it was the end of January, so just over a year ago, we decided to start hopping in Discord together in the morning and trading futures on the just New York session. And it was funny. I have so many memories from those days where none of us knew what we were talking about, and we just be like all evals, just like, all right, I'm long. And we're like, what, you're long? I'm going long, and just blowing accounts and just being stupid. And one of them actually was Ryan. You know Ryan
Yeah, Ryan.
from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
from the Discord. So yep.
So you had your own
And that was
little Discord there.
yep, yep, just the three of us, and none of us knew what we were doing. We had no strategy, and that's when I realized I need structure here. Because I knew this is what I wanted to do. I feel like as soon as I placed my first few trades, I think I kind of like fell in love with it. You know what I mean?
And can you put some more words to that? I feel exactly the same way. It's just sometimes it's a little bit intangible, right? The passion. What made it
Yeah,
click?
I think maybe what it could have been is the first few like winning trades and just seeing the dollar value go up so fast and realizing that if I had structure, if I had something, if I really spent time learning this and perfecting my craft, like I was like, wow, I could really turn this into
Mm.
something. And I just loved watching the charts and what's going on, seeing how it moves. Like I feel like a lot of the traders that would hear this podcast will be like, yeah, I had that same feeling, right? And
Mm.
that's why they're here and that's why they're seeking out information the same way I did. I was like, okay, I have no structure here. I have no knowledge of what's going on. At least, well, at first I thought I did until I realized I couldn't pass an eval. So that's when I was like, I need a mentor. I need something. So I was listening to podcasts, and
Mm.
that's when I found the day trading show, Austin Silver, and I just loved what he had to say. And he's one of the podcasts he was talking about Futures 101 and
Yeah.
2.0, and I'm like, oh, free courses. And so I watched them, loved it, hopped on the streams, and I haven't left since then. And that's been where I've been.
There's a sincerity to it, right? Where I mean, you can easily tell at this point, at least where you and I are, you can easily tell the difference between scammers, people that are just trying to sell signals or courses or whatever, know nothing about what they're doing. And then people like Austin who has a product, it's verified. You can tell that these people also from the live stream, they know what they're doing and they are profitable. And that's really that's fascinating in itself, right? And that's also what attracts people like you and me, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're so genuine, showing losses. And I feel the one thing that really stuck out to me is I feel like they really want to see everybody win. It's not about just showing, oh, we take payouts and we're the best. It's like they want to see you succeed as well. They want to push you, test your limits, and that's the kind of community that I think I needed or that I was looking for.
For sure. Yeah. So do you feel like you
Mhm.
still need that? Is that a continuous thing, or do you also feel like, because when I came out a few weeks ago out of the BSC, I felt like, okay, now I need to spend a bit of time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months locking in, like on my own. Sure, with our little Discord there, and we have our chat going on and so on. But really, it's because trading is also a personal journey, right? It's you against the markets, and it's you against yourself. So how do you feel about that? What does the community still matter as much? And do you still feel like you need the mentorship and the role modeling and so on that comes with that?
I don't. So I think the reason I left is because I don't think I necessarily need the coaching side of it
Mm.
anymore. I think I'm a little bit past that to where I need to be, a coach for my trades or whatever. But I think the important part and the main reason I joined in the first place and what I still feel like I need in my trading journey is a community, just having those people around me. And that's the biggest takeaway I made from there is I made, trading friends online like you and the other guys, just
Yeah.
people I can talk to every day, be held accountable, just other people going through the same journey as you,
Yeah.
is so much easier than pushing yourself and just trying to push through on your own. It's like I feel like everyone needs to find a community, whether you pay for it or you just hit message people on Instagram until you find some buddies,
Yeah,
like
it doesn't really
whatever.
matter how it comes upon you, right? It's just you need that. I mean, a lot of us need that. It's so lonely if you don't, right?
For sure, it's a lonely business, and I think I don't know many people who have made it there on their own, and I'm sure some people do, but I don't know. I don't think I could.
No, no, that's not how I function either. So,
Yeah.
Griff, I was just circling back to something you said in the beginning. You said you wanted when you sort of you didn't necessarily want to go to college and all that. You know, the beaten path, if you will. But so you said something about entrepreneurship, like doing your own thing. How is how do you feel like trading is that? Because you're not starting a business per se, right? You're not. It's not a company as such, right? But so what does trading mean to you in terms of starting something on your on your own? Because you also have a day job, right?
I actually my day job is I flip couches
You
full
have your
time.
own business.
So yes,
Because I'm Danish, I'm not necessarily. I don't know what flipping couches mean. Can you elaborate?
I don't know if it's super common, but I did find it on social media a few years back. But
Yeah.
I buy and I resell couches. That's what I
Okay.
do full time. Is I search for deals, send low balls, whatever,
Okay.
and I bought a truck, and so I go it all the time whenever I can throughout any day. I'm going and I'm picking up couches and then I'm selling them for more money, and that's how I
So
make
you
more
are
money
doing your
to
own
fund
thing.
my trading.
Awesome.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then you funnel that you said, shall we say, revenue into prop accounts and so on.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's what
And
keeps me going. I love what I got right now, and that's the big thing with trading too. Is I feel like for me, the idea of always just working under somebody, having somebody telling you what to do, what time to do it, you're just I always never liked the idea of just being bossed. I wanted
right.
to have my life be mine. Not that people with full-time jobs, like some people absolutely love it and that's their
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
great. But for me, it's just always been not for me. And I've had, a few jobs, warehouse jobs, whatever, and I really just love the idea of building something up myself, like trading or like
Yeah.
my couch flipping business, and being able to do it on my own time and see myself improve. And I feel like that's what I love about it.
I love the self-awareness there. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I've spent 15 years since graduating in corporate and just, like you say, being bossed around, like
Yeah.
have,
Yep.
fitting into a hierarchy, all the organizational politics and all that. And at this point now I'm 40, I'm sick of it. Right. And that's the journey I had to go through to realize that basically that I want the same thing as you do, right? Like I want to create something of my own. Which is just really cool that you can have that self-awareness at the age of 21. Excellent. So Griff, you and I both know how we trade, but can you tell a little bit for the listener about what do you actually do when you're day trading? What's your strategy? What are your setups? We're going to assume that people have a little bit of knowledge of, technical analysis, price charts, and so on. So
Sure.
if you deep dive a little bit on how you actually trade.
For sure. So yeah, I'm like you. I'm trading with VWAPs, mainly focusing on the New York VWAP. Um, and I like what works for me well. What I trade best is trending days, since I'm on Eastern time, 9:30 New York Open, and I'm looking at opening ranges too. Same as you, everything I learned
Mhm.
from Austin and the Blackshirt Club and all that. So I'm still sticking with. I stand by everything I learned from them. So usually I'm waiting for the 15-minute opening range to set, and I'm not trading before we break out of either side.
Mhm.
And I like to see some sort of trend forming in the day. So usually I wouldn't say I'm placing a trade before 10. On the majority of days, I'm not placing a trade before 10, and I'll wait to see some trend forming following the 15-minute trend. I like to see a pullback and a bounce off of the New York VWAP. That's my favorite setup. And so when I see it hit the New York VWAP, turn. I like to kind of play around with it,
Snipe it.
turn, extend off,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm entering is the bounce, and that's my number one setup. And obviously you can go down the rabbit hole of breaks and anything high a day VWAPs and throw on what start a year whatever VWAP you want you can throw on there and get really down and dirty with it. But I like to stick to my core setup, so I'm
And
usually taking one trade a day.
And you said it right. You said a rabbit hole because, I mean, we've got some of our other buddies on the Discord. We're experimenting. I'm also experimenting with a few different things, but really you also, trading needs to be simple, right? But it's easier said than done, because you feel like the minute you fail something, or the minute I shouldn't say fail, the minute you lose a trade, you feel like you got to tweak something, but you don't really. And I really admire what you're doing in terms of sticking to your guns, really sticking to the basic setups and keep repeating them, because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's, and I don't, anybody who wants to do whatever they're doing, right? I think it's great. So yeah, I see the other guys learning new things and really pushing themselves, and that's what I think. That's what I think they're doing, is pushing themselves to improve. For me, I've always found the more I complicate my trading, the worse that I do personally. So I know my setups, and I've taken them over the span of a year or whatever. So I have the statistics that show what works well for me, and it's starting to come together and work nicely. So at this point in my trading, I don't want to change anything up. I'm not looking to add new setups or take away old ones or look into other strategies, because I don't want to get into bookmap and all these levels, and everything can go together, and all of a sudden you're taking one trade because of this, but one of your other setups says you shouldn't be in, and there's just too much going on, and that has always distracted me. So I like what I'm doing now, and for now I'm going to stick to what's working. But who knows, in the future I'm willing to adapt, of course.
Of course, and I think statistically we are working with probabilities, right? You also need a lot of reps. You need a lot of consistent data to even know if you're doing things right or wrong, right? So you need hundreds of trades to say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Do you find you say you like the trending days and the bounces on the VWAPs? Do you favor longs or shorts? Like if you see a sell-off out of the open, will you be just as inclined to take the shorts?
I don't think so. I do favor longs, of course. It's just, since I've started, generally speaking, markets are trending higher. Not always, but generally
not
speaking.
Lately.
Yeah, no, definitely not lately. We've been very sideways, I feel, which makes it tough. Sure. But I like, my favorite days are when I come in and I look at the 15-minute chart and I can see clear trend, which has not been happening recently. And I can come in with a bias and say, yeah, I like the longs today. I'm not going to like the shorts, and unless we break under this level, I'm looking for longs, right? And those are the days where I really have a clear vision of, okay, if it does this, comes to here, you sort of have a game plan. You're like, if it does here, I'm gonna long here. This is what I'm looking at, right? And then it will, and you get your clean, easy wins, and you're off the desk, and you move on to whatever you're doing for the day. And so shorts are a little harder for me to read sometimes, but if obviously, starting the day we have VWAP alignment and we're selling off, I'm gonna get involved, right? I'm gonna find something ideally. So
cool, very good. Do you use any like additional data? So you know me, right? I'll be having Max 7 on the side, and I'll also use NQ as a sort of a confluence indicator, where is NQ hitting its key levels, like the VWAP and so on. Do you use any additional information like that, or you're trading ES, right?
Yep. Yes.
You just is that all the information you have with the VWAPs?
So I like to not overcomplicate and get distracted by what I'm looking at, but I do look at the Mag 7 and I do look at NQ, and that's about it. But I'll look at them, kind of see what they're doing, but I don't think I let it stop me from taking a trade. If I don't like what Mag 7's doing, and I see my perfect setup forming on ES, but let's say for longs, but the Mag 7 sinking below VWAPs, I'm not going to let it keep me out of a trade, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Cool. Very cool to talk trading, and we could do this forever. Conscious of time, Griff, I want to just finish off by hearing, so you're 21 years old.
Yep.
By the time you're my age, you're a millionaire from trading. I'm sure you are. So what is the outlook for you, Griff? How do you see the next, say, 3, 6, 12 months, and where do you want to take your business, your trading, and also personally?
Yeah, good question. So my short-term, I guess, goal with trading that I've thought since the beginning is I would like to be able to make an extra $2,000 a month. So that's kind of been the goal, right? If I can add an extra $2,000 a month from trading, I'll be ecstatic. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. That's where I want to get to right now. That's the idea. That's just what's been in my head. That number, for whatever reason, it's not outrageously big.
Exactly.
It's not a hard target to hit, but I think that's just a number for me that I want to be at. That's a goal that I've set. But obviously, I don't want to stop there, right? So I don't want to hit that and just stop progressing.
That was it.
10 years from now, I would love to have, even 5 years from now, consistent 10K months would be great. But if not, and I can just add some side income, that's fine too. But I would love to be able to take trading full time. That's the goal, right? And I love what I do with couches, selling couches as well. So, and that's on my own time. So, I guess my dream at the moment is to be able to make money, make consistent money trading, and do what I want to do with the rest of my day. Whether get off, go to the gym, sell a couple couches.
So it's about freedom as well, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Do you have a mortgage or anything like that? Like, do you have a lot of commitments that you need to you need that stable income, or?
Nope. I have no debt, nothing.
Nice.
So
awesome. That's a good
starting point. Right now, I'm trying to set myself up well and keep it going, but so the goal is to start taking some payouts, start stacking some wins, just like everybody.
Yeah. And you haven't taken a payout yet?
Nothing. Nope.
And I'm not flexing here. I'm just because I took my first one a couple of days. No, but you're on the right track. So that's the short-term goal, and I guess what I'm hearing you say is because right now you actually have a good balance. You're able to trade the New York session. You've got your day job. You can manage those things and juggle the whole thing day to day.
Yeah, no, it works out well. Everything I got going work. I have a sort of a daily schedule that is pretty similar every day. Get off the desk, go to the gym, sell couch the rest of the day. It works really well for me to be able to trade, and I'm so grateful because if I were to not have started my couch flipping business, I would have a job right now that starts at 9, and I wouldn't be trading right now. I'd be working through the session and trying to trade Asia, and it just would not work out well. So I'm really grateful for what I have going right now.
And you'd be fatigued once that happens, right? I mean, that's the thing. One of my main struggles is I'll be coming home from work and then I'll be trading the New York session because I'm on European time, right? And so, well, that's really cool. I think we'll wrap it up here, Griff. It's been awesome talking to you, getting a little bit to know a little bit about you, but also your trading and so on, how you trade. And I really thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. I'll be very happy to do it again in the future. Hopefully, maybe a year from now we do another podcast and we're both taking consistent payouts. And
let's manifest. I'll put a calendar invite in there for a year from now, and then we'll do an episode 2. Should we do that?
For sure, 100%. Let's see where we are a year from now. I would love to do that.
Thank you so much.
All right, but thanks for having me on.